Some stories are not meant to be told. They linger in the shadows, whispered between the cracks of reality, waiting for someone curious or desperate enough to listen. These tales are not found in ordinary books, but in volumes that seem to breathe, to pulse with a life of their own. They're written in blood and fear, bound in human skin, stretched over forgotten sins. Every page is a confession, every word a curse, stitched together by hands long turned to dust. The book's surface is slick with secrets, and its spine creaks with the weight of centuries. This book is one of them, nameless, authorless, a silent predator waiting on dusty shelves. It sits in the dark, patient and watchful. Its presence almost felt more than seen, as if it's aware of every footstep that passes by. It calls to the lonely and the broken, promising secrets, but its promises are lies. The book's voice is soft, almost gentle, weaving dreams of power and forbidden knowledge. But beneath its allure is a hunger that never fades. The book is a trap, always hungry for more. It opens itself to those who need answers. But what it gives in return is only despair, feeding on the hopes and fears of its readers. Its pages are a gateway from which no one returns. Each line draws you deeper until the world outside fades and only the book remains, its grip tightening with every secret revealed. Each victim becomes another layer in its cursed history, waiting for the next reader. The Book of Whispers is never truly closed. It waits, patient and eternal, for the next soul to answer its call. Daniel was lost, seeking shelter from a violent storm when he stumbled into Blackwood's books, a relic of another era. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of old paper and something darker. The shelves loomed, casting deep shadows. Daniel wandered, drawn to a secluded alcove labelled Esoterica and the Unexplained. There, on a velvet-draped table, lay a book bound in dark, organic leather, sealed with a star-shaped clasp. A tag read, "Stark and clear, do not open." The warning was a dare. Daniel felt an irresistible pull. The store's silence deepened as he reached for the book, the leather beneath his fingers almost alive. He opened the clasp. The book exhaled a musty breath, then nothing. The first page was blank. Relief flickered, but then a whisper slithered into his ear. "Daniel!" He stared as fresh black ink bled onto the page, writing his name. The book was writing about him, recording his every move. The trap had sprung. The ink spread, narrating Daniel's arrival, his fear. Each drop seemed to pulse with a life of its own, crawling across the page as if eager to tell a story that was never meant to be read. Daniel felt the chill of anticipation, the sense that something ancient and watchful was waiting for him between the lines. Whispers swirled, a chorus of lost souls echoing from the pages, their voices tangled together, some pleading, some warning, others simply weeping. The air thickened with secrets, and Daniel could almost feel the breath of those unseen narrators on his neck, urging him to listen, to understand the price of curiosity. The lights flickered, fog rolled in, and Daniel's hands refused to close the book. His fingers trembled, paralyzed by a force that felt both magnetic and malevolent. The room seemed to shrink, shadows stretching and twisting as if the very walls were listening, faces twisted in the mist, eyes wide with terror. They watched Daniel, silently begging for release or perhaps warning him to turn back before it was too late. The fog pressed in, blurring the line between reality and nightmare. He ran, but the bookstore warped into a maze, the exit always out of reach. Shelves bent and shifted, books whispering as he passed, their spines twisting to block his path. Every turn led him deeper, the way out dissolving like a memory. At the door, the old bookseller blocked his way, no longer human but a hollow guardian. Its eyes were empty. its presence cold, as if it had been waiting for Daniel all along, a sentinel bound to the ink and the story. The book's voice hissed, "You cannot leave! Your story has not yet ended!" The words slithered off the page, wrapping around Daniel's mind, making him question if he had ever truly been free. Daniel looked down. His hands were fading, his reality dissolving into ink. The boundaries of his world blurred, and as the last traces of his fingers melted into the page, he realized the story was writing itself, and he was now a part of it, forever trapped within the bleeding ink. Despair consumed Daniel as the shop dissolved into swirling ink and darkness, the world he knew slipping away with every heartbeat. Shadows twisted around him, whispering secrets in voices he could not understand, their words cold and ancient. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of old paper and something far more sinister. The book's golden eyes watched as pages turned, each face a soul it had devoured. The cover pulsed with a life of its own, as if the book itself was breathing, hungry for more. The faces in the paper twisted in agony, their silent screams echoing in Daniel's mind, pleading for release. Daniel felt himself pulled toward the book, his essence unraveling, his scream silent. Invisible hands gripped him, dragging him closer, his body fading as if erased by the very ink that stained the pages. He reached out desperate, but there was no escape from the book's relentless pull. He was written into the story, his fear joining the eternal chorus within the pages. His memories, his hopes, all became words on paper, lost among the countless souls trapped before him. The book's hunger was endless, its story never complete. With a thunderous clap, the book slammed shut. The fog vanished, leaving only silence and the lingering sense of something terrible having occurred. Dust settled in the empty air, as if erasing all evidence of what had transpired. Silence returned. The book lay closed, its clasp fastened, the tag "Do Not Open" beside it. No one would guess the horrors contained within, nor the fate of those who dared to read its pages. The bookstore waited, patient and hungry for the next visitor. Shadows lingered in the corners, and the air seemed to hum with anticipation, as if the story was not yet finished. Some books should never be opened. Their stories are written in fear, and their endings are never